Hey guys, into the end here. I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I'm going to do a draft video, both the draft itself and then the gameplay afterwards. Um, I have not done too many drafts in Eternal, but I do consider myself to be a competent drafter in Magic. I have a good grasp of the fundamentals and the concept of drafting, but what I don't have is the experience, especially after Omen's release. I've only done maybe 4 to 5 drafts in total since the expansion, and I do find it to be a little bit more difficult because you are more encouraged to play 3-color decks. So it's not as straightforward as what drafting used to be before the expansion, where you're encouraged to draft mostly 2 colors. So let's jump into it. I'll walk through my reasoning in my draft, and then I'll make a separate video for the gameplay. Okay, Shard of the Spire is not a good card, so we're not going to think about it. Icequake is extremely powerful, but I do hate to start the draft off with a 7-mana spell. Swindle is fine, Granite Ring is fine in the right deck. If I don't take the Icequake, then I think the next most powerful card is Mortar. But I'm also not a very big fan of picking a 2-color card first pick. So between these two, I am... the problem with Icequake is it does 3 damage to your own units. And that's usually not great, because if you have bigger units that can survive while your opponent doesn't, then you probably don't need the Icequake anyway. I'm leaning towards Mortar. Direct damage at instant speed is incredibly powerful. If I don't take Mortar and I don't take Icequake, then I may be thinking about the Sand Viper, because I want to Deadly for turn 2 is an incredibly good card if you have a mid-range slower deck and you just want to hold the ground and survive. I am not going to pick a 7-mana spell in my first pick. I think when in doubt, one of my philosophies is if I have 2 cards that I want equally, I'm going to let the mana cost decide. I think I'm just going to take this the lower cost card and take the risk that I may not play it if it turns out that red and blue is not open. Purify is something that I like a lot. But if I pick Purify, then I end up with 3 colors in my first 2 picks. That's okay, but the problem is you don't really see enough signals, or at least clear enough signals, into maybe the 4th or 5th pick in the pack. The first couple of picks, if people took a rare, you don't really get any signal from that. So I think what I'm going to do is simply pick the most powerful card in the pack, and then take the risk of not being able to play it, and really finalize my colors around the 4th and 5th pick. So the first 3 or 4 picks, I'm simply going to pick the best card and not worry about staying to 1 or 2 colors. Because what's worse is if the 4th and 5th pick comes along and you've dedicated yourself to 1 color, and it turns out that that was not the open color, and that's even worse for you, I think. And because there's a lot of fixing in Omens, I think playing 3 colors, even splashing a 4th, is not out of the question. So I am just going to go ahead and pick this Purify over. I think the next best cards would be Pummel, Thunderhoof Warrior, and if you have a slower deck, Swindle is quite good as well. I can pick Swindle and stay in color, but I think I'm just going to pick the Purify, which I think is more powerful than Swindle in a vacuum. Okay, the rare is still here. This is not a very good rare. I think Hunter's Harpoon is very good. The Horn Grinder is pretty powerful, actually, if you draft the deck around it. Journeyman Armor is actually quite good. And I do have a Purify already, so this is on color. But I think I like the Hunter's Harpoon more. I think the upside for this card is just too good. giving a unit quick draw by itself is already quite good, and then being able to draw a card off of it is just incredible. Once you put this on an unblockable unit or a flyer, you're going to bury your opponent in card advantage. I'm a really big fan of this card actually, so I'm going to go ahead and take it. I think the upside for this card is much higher than the upside of this card, and the Horn Grinder does require you to build a deck around it, which I'm not ready to commit to at this moment. I think it really is just a consideration between these two cards, and if you're really aggressive, you can go for the Bully. If you need color fixing, you go with the Stranger, but I'm going to go ahead and take the Harpoon because it's already on color to my Mortar. Another Forgotten Find. If I'm going to play blue, this Cloud Snake Hatchling is surprisingly good because it is a very, very good Spark enabler. I can see that there's no set time cards here in this entire pack, so the Purify could be my splash. I think, given the colors that we have, the Valkyrie Denouncer is actually pretty good, but it's the two colors that we're not, so I'm not a big fan of picking it up here. I think the Rebel Rouster is also decent, but we don't have any green cards. But then this Hatchling is on color. It works very well with Hunter's Harpoon because it has evasion, and if you're playing blue and red, you're gonna have a lot of Spark cards later on, and this is a very good enabler. So, and it's also pretty good for carrying other weapons that you can get later on as well. So I'm actually just gonna go ahead and take this Hatchling. I think the Pummel is also very, very good, but I think right now, let's start with getting the creatures and then pick up the combat tricks later. This is quite good for a slower deck, but let's just go with the Spark enabler here. Hey, this banner is quite good if I want to splash. Trailblaze is perfectly fine. All of the blue cards are playable, and the red cards are playable as well, so I think we're in the right colors. I think blue and red are both open, and time is definitely not open. We haven't seen a single time card in like 2 or 3 packs. Strangers are always good for splashing, but this is a blue-green one, and we have no green at the moment. I'm actually leaning pretty heavy for the Praxis banner, because I really like Purify. Trailblaze is also quite good. I think for me, it's really the choice between the banner and Trailblaze. With the banner, I have a chance to play Purify and a splash of time, but then time is not open anyway, so maybe I end up cutting Purify altogether, whereas Trailblaze is perfectly fine in a deck like this. You get a Stride one and it replaces itself, so I think this is actually I think Trailblaze here might be the pick, just because I'm not even sure if I will be splashing time in the moment. If I end up splashing a third color, then this banner becomes useless, but then Trailblaze I'm pretty sure I will run, because I'm pretty sure I'm blue, so the chance of me running Trailblaze is higher, so we'll take that. Wow, another Mortar. I think Mortar is incredibly powerful, and this is kind of the reward you get for kind of committing to blue and red early, I guess. None of these other cards I'll play. This time card is fine, but I'm not going to pick a time card now. This card is playable, but it's not fantastic at all. Certainly not going to play any kind of Life Force. The Hammer is decent on a evasive unit like this, but nothing compared to Mortar. I mean, I first picked it, so this is like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th pick. Oh, there's a number here. 6th pick. That's a great deal. So now, I think Spell Shield Architect is quite good. So if I want to splash the Purify, I just go ahead and grab the Praxis Stranger. But blue-green seems to be open as well. And if I can be blue-red-green, then I get all of the good cards in these dual factions, which is actually pretty nice. And green seems to be open as well, more open than... Well, red and green are equally open. But I think the Spell Shield Architect is much, much better than the Praxis Stranger in raw power level. And if I pick this Architect, then I'm open to both the green splash and the red splash. I think I can pick up a Stranger later on. So let's go with the Architect now and keep ourselves open to either the red splash or the green splash. I think Brain Down is significantly better than Outland Brood, but the Skycrag banner is also very good. By picking this card, then I'm basically shifting into green-blue, which I'm okay with. The Skycrag banner is good no matter what. This is a really tough pick. I'm gonna take a leap of faith and hope that I can pick up some Fixing in Strangers as a 2-drop, and just take the better card and Bring Down. I think Bring Down is just a very powerful 2-drop. And I think the Spell Shield Architect is good enough for me to consider using Bring Down as my second color. And green-blue is clearly open, so I'm going to get all the good green-blue and red-blue cards on the third pack as well, which is pretty nice. Or the Fixing. Let's just get Bring Down. Another Harpoon, another Enabler, and then a Watcher. So red-blue is incredibly open. At this point, I do want a few more creatures. I have too many spells and too many equipment and not enough creatures to use it with. But then this is not a fantastic creature either. It's 1 damage and I have no current way to buff it. This is kind of tough, but I'm just going to go and get another Harpoon. I know that I'm very heavy in the 4s and very low in the 1, 2, and 3s, but I don't think I want too many 1-mana 1/2 flyers. They're just not very good later on in the game, and I just don't have enough ways to buff it. I'm just going to go for the raw power level with the Harpoon. And here I'm just going to go for another Spell Shield Architect because it's a 3-drop. This is a 4-drop, even though the 4-drop is a little bit better. I'm just going to go ahead and get the 3-drop that gives me Aegis. Oh, sweet, another copy of Bring Down. Let's grab that. Red is also open though. So it's unlikely that we're playing the Purify, so let's just move it from the pool. So we're most likely blue-green right now. And the red is looking like the splash instead of the green. So I'm pretty much blue-green splash and red for a couple of pumps and burn spells. This is too expensive, that's unlikely to activate. 3/1 flyer is quite good. 2 mana 1/4 is fantastic, but this card here is extremely powerful if you are going to be running a bunch of flyers, and I do plan to run a bunch of flyers, so I'm just going to go and grab this. My 4-drop is way too heavy right now, but this card I think is just too good to give up. It's also a fantastic blocker, so I'm going to go ahead and grab it. If I don't grab this, it'll be probably the 1/4 or the Inspire or the Sky Snapper, but I'm going to get this 2/4. I don't think Rain of Frogs is very good in Limited. This is fine, but I'm not splashing time. I'm splashing red. Inspire is very good. The Yeti is a perfectly playable 2-drop. Trick is also very good, but these are kind of tricks, and so I think Inspire is pretty good here. None of the other cards are super exciting for my deck. I am a little low on creatures, so that might be a consideration for grabbing a Yeti, but I think getting a Stranger is probably better than the Yeti. So really for me it's Inspire or Finest Hour here. I really do like tricks. I think I like the tricks more than I like the Inspire. Giving a random unit +1/+1 in Limited is nowhere near as good as a constructed deck where all of your creatures are good. So it's going to be the Finest Hour or the Yeti. I'm going to take the Finest Hour. Might be a mistake. I think District Infantry is actually very good. In Limited, playing this on turn 1, you can do pretty easily 6 to 9 damage with this card, and that's extremely good for 1 power. Morningstar is also really good, but I'm already completely loaded on the 4-drops here. There are no blue cards in this pack, which is a little bit alarming. But let's just take the infantry here. Wow, False Prince is quite good. I normally like the Copper Hog Recruit a lot, but I do have way too many 4s. And this serves the same function as Cloudskate Hatchling, which is a Spark Enabler, which I like, with the added bonus of becoming a 5/5 later on in the game. It's either going to be the Valkyrie here or the Inspire. I'm going to go with the unit here over the Inspire, which I think is a fine card, but once again, like I said, it's a random 1/1 to a random unit, and it's just not as reliable having a early play that can block and that can also enable Spark. I think here we're just going to take Silverwing. Silverwing is got too big of an upside. And I mean, it's a terrible blocker, but the upside for the Silverwing is just too good to give up. Beast color adamant, quite good. So it's going to be the flyer. It's going to give you the 2/1 that gives a flying or the Minotaur Grunt. I'm not going to go with a 5-drop here. I already have 2 mortars for removal spell, which is pretty good, and also 2 bring downs, which is pseudo removal for flying units. It's really just a curve issue here. Should I get a 2-drop or should I get a 3-drop? I think because I have the Windshaper, which really entices me to get more flying units, I'm going to go for the Cobalt Acolyte here. And here, I think too many 1-drops is not great for the deck. I'm too loaded on 4s, so I think the easy pick here is to pick up a 2-mana creature, which is a perfectly fine creature as well. The Gorilla Fighter is also fine, but once again, I'm completely overloaded on 4, so for curve considerations, we'll go for the Minotaur Grunt. This actually opens me up to a potential Purify Splash with the Stranger, but then the 2-mana 1/4 is just an incredibly good blocker. And I think if you're playing blue-green and you're looking to draft a bunch of flying units, you just want things that can block really well and clog up the ground. So I think I'm just going to go for the Scaly Huran, whatever it's called. Seek Power, quite good for fixing, but I'm just easily going to slam the 3/1 flyer here, which is on theme to what I want to do with this deck. Dispel, none of these cards I'm going to play. It's unlikely that I can even splash this. Sure. Yeah, Violent Gust is actually pretty good. It might even be main deck playable. Wow, this is a legendary. I didn't know that. Well, clearly this card is not good for our deck, but it is of 800 Shift Stones. So I may just end up rare drafting this. But let's take a look at what else is here. Ooh, Dragon Breath is very good for my deck. But then there's actually nothing here but the Dragon Breath. I mean, I'll play the Rebel Rouser, but it's not super exciting. It's also a 4-drop. I think the Blister Sting Wasp is very good, but I'm not in those colors. Sand Viper is very good, but I'm not in that color. This Yeti is unexciting. So really, it's just a Dragon Breath here I would take, but I'm going to take this because, once again, it's a legendary. I'm just going to go for the 800. Shift Stones here. I don't have... Oh, actually, I have 2 direct damage spells to go with the Shaman here. Another Praxis Banner, in case I want to splash the time, but another Mortar. Maybe? I guess I actually don't play limited enough to know if 3 mortars is too much, but my gut tells me you can never have enough mortars. The Clan Hero is a really good 3-drop, especially because I have some very good Spark enablers. The Clan Hero and Mortar are both very good, but I think I'm a little low on... No, I can't justify passing up Mortar. Mortar is just so powerful. I'm just going to take the Mortar. Champion of Vengeance. I don't think I need the 3rd copy of Harpoon. That's too much. I think it's either going to be the Stranger, the Sentry, or the Pommel. I already have a Finest Hour, and quite a bit of burn spells. I think I'm low on units. And the Stranger helps me splash red, and I think I need the Stranger on the 2-drop slot for the fixing and also for the curve purposes, then the Sentry, which is a very good unit as well, but I think I'm just going to go for the Stranger here. Yeah, this card is very good. I think I don't have any very expensive card, and this is a very, very good grindy card in the late game. It's flying, it enables Spark, it blocks very well, and I can draw a card with it. This is a slam dunk here. I'm a big fan of the Ice Bowl, but considering the fact that I already have 2 Harpoons, having more conditional cards doesn't seem amazing. This is fine, but 6-drop is pretty expensive. So the consideration is the Yeti, which I'm not excited about. I'm not going to be attacking people on the ground with a 2/2 like with this deck, I don't think. I already have 2 architects. I guess I will end up just getting the bull here. Another architect. I can just load up on these things. My curve is looking kind of weird. It's just this flat line across. I think the Copperheart Herald is what I'm going to take just because it has a lower curve. But this banner is exciting. No, I talked myself out of it. I think I'm just going to go for this banner. Storm Glider is quite good. Once again, Yeti. I would only take this for curve purposes. The Sentry is good, but I have no mentors in my deck except for the 2 Spell Shield Architects. But this 2/2 Flyer is very good. It becomes a 5/2 later on in the game when you have lots of leftover power. But this 4-drop slot. This also benefits from the Windshaper, which I really like. My deck is getting very clunky on the 4 slot. It's gonna have a lot of cards stuck in my hand at 4-drop, playing 1 at a time, which I think is fine and limited. Very hesitant to take another 4-mana spell over the 3-mana and the 2-mana spell. Curve is just very important. Sentry with Aegis, with a Spell Shield Architect, makes it a 4/4 Aegis, which is actually very powerful. For the 2-drop slot, I only have 3 2-mana creatures at the moment, although I do have 3 1-mana creatures. 6 units I can play on turn 1 and 2 to defend against beatdown decks. I think I'm going to go for the High Branch Sentry here. I do like the interaction with Spell Shield Architect. A 4/4 Aegis unit is actually pretty powerful, and then you can be given flying, for example. Then it's very difficult for opponents to answer. So let's just do that. Spark Enabler, but I have no Spark cards. So all of pack 3 is done, pretty much, and I have picked up 0 Spark cards. So I don't think I want these Spark Enablers at all. I'm just going to go for the 2-drop here. And another Aegis Carrier, or a 4/3 Overwhelm. Let's just go with another Aegis 3/2. Once again, this is for curve considerations. I really don't like this unit. 6 mana is a lot to pay for a unit. First, this is very aggressive. It attacks through a lot of things because I have quick draw. Yeah, let's take the 4-mana spell. This is perfect. Clan Hero is a very good unit. Although with more red spells in my deck, especially in the earlier mana slots, I do need to put in more red mana, which is something I'm not a huge fan of doing. Hero of the People. I'm splashing red. I'm not sure about playing a Phoenix. If it is a splash, how reliable it is that I'll get 2 red. I'm not sure. Hero of the People in this deck can be fine because I have so many flying units. So at worst, this is a 3-mana 2/2 flying. It could potentially grow from there. So I think the cards that I like the most is maybe get greedy and see if I can splash the Phoenix. That is pretty greedy. Hero of the People is playable. I'm not sure I want another 1-drop. I already have 2 combat tricks. Sorry, 1 combat trick in Finest Hour. This is the wrong color, Stranger. So you know what? Let's just get greedy and see if we can cast the Whirlpire of Phoenix. Steward of the Pass. So I think here I'm just going to pick one of these 2 3-mana spells. Most likely this Eastwind Herald. It blocks quite well. It is in the air. this heavy axe is something I find attractive in a deck like mine, because I have Silverwing Familiar, Sky Snapper. I have a lot of flying units, and having ways to buff flying units is a good way to end the game. But I think I'm just going to go for the 2 mana unit here. Wrong color. Death Strike, very good. Static Bolt, I think, is perfectly playable. 2 mana for 2 damage. Because if I don't take the Static Bolt, then I have another copy of the Valkyrie. I don't think I want another 1 mana 1/1. This is the wrong color. Stranger. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I really like the Acolyte here, but I'm not black, so Static Bolt it is. Ooh, this is very good. I really like the Cobalt Acolyte, but all of my units are looking kind of small. They're all 1 power units. I mean, this can be a 5-power unit, but I'm actually eyeing this Crown Watch Longsword. I think when you have a lot of flying units, having ways to buff them like this is a very powerful way to win the game, especially if I can give a flying unit Aegis and then pump it. I think this is a good way to win the game. Yeah, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to get the Longsword over the Acolyte. This is a very, very close pick. I'm not going to pick the Paladin over these units. I know that I can pump the Paladin with a bow or a harpoon, making it 4/4, giving me lifelink. But 4/4 on the ground, it's probably not good enough. I think one of these would be better. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this Longsword. Let me take it. Oh wow, that is a gift. This is a slam dunk. I'm low on sort of finishers. I'm not quite sure that I can play the Phoenix, so I think this is definitely one of the best things I can get. Another hero. I think here it's just going to go for the 3 mana 2/3 endurance. I don't think I want to play the hero. It's too conditional. I'm just worried about drawing this in an empty board, or when I'm behind and I top deck this and I play it and it does nothing. I'm actually very worried about that. So it can get flying very reliably. I only have 1 unit with endurance. I have 3 units with Aegis. Oh, actually, Hero of the People and Silverwing Familiar is an amazing combo. I didn't even see that. I think the upside here is too great, and the Treasury Guard is mediocre, so I'm not going to miss it. Wow, yeah, this combo... Oh, I should have picked up the other hero then, because this combo is sick. So let's do that. Okay, so a 3/3 Flying Warcry or a Silence and Stun. I'm going to go with the 3/3 Warcry Flyer. Wrong color Stranger. Hero Song is fine, but I'm not going to play it here. I don't think I'll play any of these cards, so I'm just going to take the Stranger in case I'm low on 2 drops. I think I take the Shield over any of these other spells. Yes, I really like the Sky Snapper, so I'll take it. That Stranger is good. That Stranger actually produces red. That's actually very good for me. Alright, so I'm going to pause the video, construct my deck, and then show you the and then record again to show you the finished product. Okay, so this is the final deck. The curve doesn't look amazing. It's very heavy on 3s, but I think this is the best I can do. The most notable cuts is that I removed all of the 1-drop Spark Enablers, so both the 1 mana flyers and the District Infantry as well. I don't think my deck is aggressive enough, and I'm not trying to win the game very quickly. So I don't want to have a bunch of 1-drops that I will top deck into, turn 7-8 of the game, and you feel miserable drawing a District Infantry. So I cut them for the little bit more mid-game power. So I come online a little bit later, but once again, my deck is not aggressive enough for me to have a bunch of 1-drops. And I ended up with very few Spark cards, in fact only 1. So I didn't feel like I needed the Spark Enablers anymore. So my curves pretty much starts at 2, with a bunch of decent ways to clog up the ground while I build up my air forces and attack in the air. I have some very good interactions here. I have Hero to People with Silverwing Familiar, which is very powerful. Spell Shield Architect on the hero also gives it an additional +1/+1 because of the Aegis. Putting it onto the Sentry gives it another +1/+1, which is a very powerful interaction. And then Hunter's Harpoon works very well on all the flying units, so as long as he doesn't know where to get rid of them, or if I protect it with an Aegis first, then I'll be drawing a stream of cards, even if I'm not doing a lot of damage, maybe 2-3 damage per turn. But drawing an extra card and doing 3 damage a turn is good enough to win most games. 3 mortars to finish out the game, and as a removal spell. And then this is kind of a high end, another way for me to continuously draw cards in the late game to make sure that I never run out of gas. And then the Sapphire Dragon is just a fantastic finisher. So the deck, I think, turned out really well. I have very few conditional cards, only just the 2 weapons here and the Crown Watch Longsword here as being conditional. Everything else is pretty much very flexible and always good. My removal suite is just all burn, and if there are no units, I can always burn my opponents. So I think this is good. I think the most notable cuts was I'm not using any of the red cards anymore. I think 2 red on the War Pyre Phoenix, even though this is a very, very powerful card, I think 2 red forces me to play more fire than I would like, and that brings a level of inconsistency to my mana base that I don't like. I think if you were trying to go 7-0 or something like that, and you're just taking a gamble, then yeah, you put it into your deck, and you just hope that you play 7 games where you draw perfect mana, and just pray to the RNG god a little bit. But I prefer a little bit more consistency from my decks. If I was in a tournament playing for top 8, maybe I put this in to see if I can just get lucky. But I think my deck is pretty decent. I don't need to take that risk. Another reason to take gambles is if you think your deck is really bad and then you just have to have it to win. And I think my deck is okay. I think this is a 6, 7 out of 10 kind of deck, so I don't think I want to put that in and reduce my consistency. Like I said, all the 1-drops were taken out. The Watchwing was taken out. I have far too many 1-power units, and I'm worried about having ways to kill my opponents, so I basically cut some of the 1-power units that I don't think I should play. For example, the Scaly Gurren, I cut as well, even though it is a very good blocker. I took out the Ice Bowl because I don't want too many weapons. There are conditional cards. Only one copy of Bring Down. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to stop the recording now and record some gameplay videos. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see, leave a like or a comment or a share. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments below. Thanks.